Times Square is the heart of New York City. A lot come running down.
If you want a woman, man, that's what you're gonna do down here in Manhattan. You know what I'm saying?
You have to go inside of these places with the pretty neon signs and the flashing lights to see what actually is going on.
This man knows what's behind the bright lights in the big city. He's an undercover police officer in the Public Morals Squad.
We walked in there, we were immediately propositioned.
For a sexual act? Or...
Sexual act.
$10 for a private show with you and the girl of your choice to take off her clothes. If you like, she can also go in the same booth with you where you can touch me and I touch you.
As soon as you walk in, they're eager to make that money, want to make the money fast. It's very competitive.
Hi guys, want to have some fun with me?
Woman came into the booth and offered any number of services. I mean, right away, just like that.
Where do you go? I'm going to stay back here with you for $40.
We've made many arrests in there to the point that they keep on changing the names.
Peepland here is another place that we went to. What have you seen here?
They have actual booths. Once you enter the booth, you put your money in the slot and the window opens. When you look in, there's a female who's standing on the stage, and she'll proposition you. She'll say, well, it's $2 to touch my top and $3 to touch my bottom. But if someone allows someone to touch their private parts for a fee, it's not legal.
What kind of people do you find in these places?
There's doctors, lawyers.
In these places where
yes,
for $3
these guys,
you can touch
this guy's
women?
going in there with $1,000 suits on and spending $5 for a little bit of action. They're trying a new thing now, what's called lap dancing.
Now, what is lap dancing? You tip the girls, they sit on your lap, they dance in their lap. Bump and run.
The woman straddles the man, and she's wiggling and dancing all over him.
They call that
lap dance.
What do you call that?
We call that a sexual act that you're arrested for. It's illegal.
And if a club is repeatedly caught in the act, the lap dance could be its last dance.
Everybody knows we received an order signed by Judge DeGrasse to close a lap dancing operation on 42nd Street.
It's the mayor's office of Midtown Enforcement.
6 to R1, we've effected entry to the premises. Do you copy, kid?
A task force battling the illegal sex trade on Times Square.
We got an order from the court, Supreme Court, County of New York. This business is now closed.
Hey, you know what it says here? There's no prostitution of any kind taking place on these premises.
Right.
It says that on the sign.
It's a
You
lie.
don't believe that sign?
It's a major lie. There were 9 arrests for prostitution.
Bill Daly is the director of Midtown Enforcement.
So the way that works is cops come in, make the arrests, you come in right behind the cops and close the place down.
Right.
And that's worked?
It's worked tremendously.
How many places have you closed?
Well, actually hundreds, but the net effect has been a 2/3 reduction of the number of illegal sex businesses in Times Square. This is shut down. This is now out of business.
Now this looks like a fairly sleazy block. I mean, you got the Club 44, the Ecstasy, Triple Ecstasy, Adult Video Center, and the Adonis Theater for Adults Only. I mean, this is not presumably what you had in mind for Times Square.
Well, what I had in mind is really not the point here. You have movies here, dancing at the topless place, and these are activities that are protected by the First Amendment. People sometimes are shocked by what they see in Times Square. Of course, you don't see this in perhaps Middle America, but we've come a long way. It's quite a change.
This is a place that's perfect for boxing.
Broadway, 7th Avenue, and 42nd.
You really must look for this gym. You must care to find this, because in 8 seconds or less you're by it, going, where is it? And that's it.
Bert Sugar, the Times Square boxing sage, has watched them all come.
It's like build a gym and they'll come. It's here.
Ali, Duran, Tyson, Boom Boom Mancini. They've come by the thousands to the Times Square gym.
Get something started first. Get something started first. That's what I want.
Tough kids from tough streets.
This is the toughest gym in the city.
It's the Broadway of boxing.
If you can make it in this gym, you can make it anywhere.
Jimmy the Red McNeese. He's been boxing since he was 13 years old. Made it big back in '76. McNeese wins Golden Gloves. That's you.
There were 20,000 people there that night. There's no experience like it, really. It's like being on stage.
Every boxer loves a stage. New York was the capital of boxing. Madison Square Garden was the mecca of boxing. New York has, as part of its rich history, the kids who came through New York to become great boxers.
It was a big deal, you know. And, they made me a big star, put me on a pedestal, and I stayed up there until I knocked myself off. You know.
What happened to you?
And me, well, I guess I wanted this party to last too long, you know? And it was, alcohol and drugs became a big part of my life. Took me down pretty bad. And took away my hopes and my dreams.
Boxing basically depends on its product. Its product is people. Its people are the young kids. They were all street kids by nature. They were kids trying to make their way in the world. And the only way some kids could make it was with their fists.
You know, it's like hope. That's what I feel. You know, it feels like I'm gonna make it to be someone if I just keep on coming to Times Square. So many champions come out of here. And I know I got what it takes too. And I'm gonna give my best shot so I can be that person up there. So they can look up their next kid and say, look, that's William Cruz.
They can finally see the stars through the debris of their past.
It's to rob people, it's to break in stores.
Well, I was from uptown, you know, uptown Harlem.
And the block I lived on, very dangerous.
I did the things brothers from Harlem do.
Come downstairs, there's drugs transactions right in the lobby.
Stuff I'm not too proud of saying, you know, I mean.
Shootouts.
I was very bad.
My whole thing was I used to leave the block and tell the fellas, I'm going to where it's safe at, you know, and that was the gym.
This up here is a whole different world. You walk out of there, that's like Sodom and Gomorrah down there, you know. But this is peace up here, and this is live. This is life, you know. What makes a gym are the fighters and the trainers.
You slip punches, you put power in your punches.
That's why this gym here, you know, it looks like a bomb hit it. It's barely holding together. The ceiling's falling down. But I tell you what, this is a real boxing gym. This is where dreams are made, hopes begin, because this is where the fighters come.
You could spend days here listening to the legendary stories, but this is all about to end. The Times Square Gym here on 42nd Street is about to be knocked out by the city. This entire building at the corner of 42nd and Broadway has been condemned, and the Times Square Gym is about to be evicted.
Times Square Gym was a little piece of Times Square and Broadway. And when Times Square Gym goes down, it's another vestige gone. And it's unfortunately not only boxing that suffers, I really think culture suffers.
This gym has been my whole, you know, existence for the last 5.5 years. You know, this is like a home. This is a home.
I probably could have been on the street dead, shot somewhere, you know. So I owe a lot to the gym, though.
This is like my second chance. I mean, I almost OD'd on drugs. I threw my life away.
And McNeese is working on his second chance with the help of his father. After licking alcohol and drugs, he hopes to be back in the ring this summer.
I wasted them 10 years of my life. So I had to look at it, and that's why I'm making a comeback. And this is where I started, right in this gym, so I came back to my roots, you know.
They've come because it's home. Carlos, Lonnie, Leonard, Willie, Jimmy, part of the gym's family. This gym will go down for the count. But these fighters will be carrying it with them and pity the future opponents of these Times Square dreamers.
And I'll be thinking about this gym and the hard days I put in here and the sweat that I sweated in here. Then I'll be thinking about that guy trying to take away my dream. And after that, you don't stand a chance.